Okay, here I'm going to do compositional thumbnail sketches. So when you do a drawing, if you're using a nice piece of paper or a big piece of paper, you want to do some of these before you do your drawing. It can be for still life or figure or fantasy. So I have my still life set up that I'm doing on the black paper. I should have done this before, but I'm doing it after. And so I want to set up some different compositions and then I would pick one to draw. So in this, you can set up your objects. You can also move around your objects. So I'm just thinking about how I want to place them on the paper. So like I'm going to do one where these are just practice ideas. They should take you no more than a few minutes each. I usually do 4, but you can do more if you want, and you can do as many as you want. And it helps you before you mess up a nice piece of paper. Okay. I'm making the objects bigger here. So you can play with how many objects do you want on the paper? Do you want the objects bigger? Do you want the objects smaller? I'm making them big here, taking up the whole page, and this one's going to come off the page. You can also move them if you want, like if you're not sure how you want to set them up. And that's kind of one composition where they're pretty big. I'm also going to do the one that I did, which is, so you don't have to put any detail on this. You're just seeing, do you like the negative space? Do you like the way they're set up? So this is what I'm shading in, the negative space. It's a space around the objects. People don't usually pay attention to it, but it's just as important as the positive space, which is the space that the objects are taking up. So the black is the negative space. The white is the positive space. You want to have your negative space interesting, like something artists want to think about before they start their drawing. Okay, now I'm going to do the one that I did here. So I have the bottle kind of right here. This can be very sketchy. You don't need to have detail here. And whoops. Okay, and then I have the table at a diagonal. So that's the one I chose. So once you do these, you choose one and you make it into your drawing. What else can I do? I can, I mean, these are almost, my drawing is more like this. There's a little more space right here. You can have things touching the bottom, touching the top. If things are touching edges, that's breaking up the negative space. So, say here I want this cap touching the edge. And some of these are not going to work out, but you're going to see what looks good and what doesn't. This has negative space right here, right here, right here, and right here. You just want to see what you like. I still like this one the best. This is kind of right in the middle, and that's why the diagonal line helps. So, like, would it look different if I I did it small, but I had it touching this side, right? If that makes any sense. So if I put this touching this side, and this over here. And then there's a lot of space over here, you know, and you could make a straight line for a table or a diagonal line. But how do you feel about it hitting this side? I mean, this is pretty much personal preference, right? But you want to see what looks good and what doesn't look so good, and how you want to structure your drawing. I'm going to stop here. You should do this anytime before you make a drawing. That should be a drawing habit that you get in.